Many people worry that if the US dollar collapses, the housing market will follow it down to zero. This anxiety relies on the belief that a property's value is permanently locked to the specific paper units used to buy it. But if we look at every major currency failure in history, we see that the physical land and the buildings on it stay exactly where they are, even as the money supply fails around them. This diagram shows the logic of the repricing mechanism. It features a fixed physical asset being measured by a ruler that represents the currency. When the currency loses value, that ruler shrinks, requiring more units to cover the same physical space. Under these conditions, real estate doesn't crash. The currency crashes into the real estate. The resulting price surge is a mathematical result of a broken measuring stick, rather than a loss of physical wealth. In this time lapse, the building remains perfectly stationary while the world around it changes. It continues to provide shelter, workspaces, and agricultural yields regardless of what happens to a central bank. This photo from the 1920s shows the height of the German poppy mark hyperinflation. By late 1923, German prices doubled every few days, creating a total collapse of public trust. Those who held their life savings in cash saw their purchasing power mathematically wiped out in a matter of months. However, an industrialist named Hugo Stinnes recognized the pattern and positioned his wealth to survive the devaluation. This balance sheet shows his strategy. Stinnes borrowed heavily in paper currency to acquire a massive portfolio of coal mines, factories, and land. As hyperinflation accelerated, the real value of his debt was effectively erased. The debt became worthless in real terms, while his physical assets simply absorbed the newly printed currency. This process functions as a predictable, legal transfer of wealth. It moves purchasing power away from cash savers and into the hands of asset holders who carry fixed-rate debt. Capital always seeks to abandon a failing currency in favor of durable physical structures. We see this exact mechanism executing today. This is Harare, the capital of Zimbabwe. After repeated episodes of extreme inflation, the public eventually abandoned the domestic currency entirely. As people desperately traded their dying paper for physical safety, property prices in Zimbabwe surged astronomically in local currency terms. The same pattern is visible in Buenos Aires. In 2023, Argentina's inflation passed 200%, leading to a total detachment of property from the local peso. To protect their wealth, owners shifted almost exclusively to pricing and trading real estate in US dollars, making the peso irrelevant to the property's underlying value. Regardless of the geography or the decade, capital flees unstable paper and embeds itself in persistent physical reality. Physical property does not provide an absolute shield. Owners are still vulnerable to government tax hikes, hostile regulations, and shifting political winds. Acquiring property in declining locations or taking on negative cash flow will still destroy wealth, regardless of what the currency is doing. But history remains consistent. While real estate carries operational risks, holding paper money in a crisis results in a guaranteed loss of purchasing power. Productive assets like this agricultural land survive because they provide a permanent utility that the population requires to survive. Similarly, well-located multifamily housing remains valuable because it fulfills the constant human need for shelter. In this visual, the paper currency disintegrates into ash while the earth beneath it remains. The ultimate defense against a dying dollar is owning the very things that the currency is measured against. True financial preparation requires positioning your wealth on the side of enduring assets rather than clinging to broken promises.